Namaste yogis. Hi, my name is Angeline and today we'll be doing a yin practice for our spine. If you're not really familiar with yin, it's a practice where we hold the asana anywhere from 1 to 20 minutes, 20 minutes being the ultimate yin master type person who loves to sit in their asana for a while and really feel the effect of gravity on our body and just releasing into that with a focus on our breath as we do that. We're not really trying to engage the muscles too much once we're in our asana. Also, when you come into an asana in a yin practice, there's 3 tenets or principles that you want to be mindful of. One is finding your appropriate edge, and that means just coming to a place where you start to feel sensation in your body as you come into your pose, and then just kind of allowing yourself to be there. The second principle is finding stillness. So finding that stillness of our mind, our body, our spirit. And then the third principle is to hold. So to just commit to that pose for the amount of time that we are asking for. Today's practice can be considered somewhat of an intermediate practice. Even if you are a beginner, it's okay. Just if you find yourself having a lot of difficulty or challenge in holding the asana, then I would advise you to come out of it and maybe go into a child's pose while the rest of us are kind of hanging out in our pose for a bit, and then meet back with us when we go into the next asana. Okay, so with all that being said, in our practice today, it's always nice to have a little blanket to sit on top of. Charlene is protecting me today. Charlene, it's okay. You can also use blocks. A yin practice is somewhat similar to restorative in the sense that you can use props to help support you again, so you find that place of that sense of stillness in your asana and having that support and really being able to fully engage with your breath and just really release any and all muscle tension out of your muscles. Okay, we're going to go ahead, bring ourselves to our practice. So go ahead and close your eyes. You can start in a simple cross-legged seated position. So as you close your eyes, we're just going to chime our tingsha's to initiate the beginning of our practice. Let's go ahead and take a few moments of meditation. And also to become familiar with the breath that's going to carry us out through our practice. So with your eyes closed and your hands down on your knees, if you want to feel more grounded, I would suggest that. If you want to feel more open and receptive to maybe something that's bigger than you or greater than you, it could be God, God's source, just anything that seems to be something that kind of holds the answers for you. And just allow yourself to connect with that and to bring that energy into your practice and to be open and receptive to the assistance from beyond, if you will, the assistance even here on earth. Just being able to know that we don't always have to be so guarded and protected, especially in our practices. So even if you truly feel that way out in your life, go ahead and give yourself permission to find that peace and that security and that love and that safety in your yoga practice. We'll start by taking an inhale through our nose. And as you inhale, you want to feel the belly fill up, the chest expand, and the collarbones rise. And as you exhale, which you can do through the nose as well, you're just going to feel the collarbones drop, the chest deflates, and then the belly deflates. And we're just going to continue with that breath. If you are familiar with the Ujjayi breath, the ocean sound breath, you'll notice that this is pretty much what we're doing at this point. If you're not familiar, you want to hear a little bit of a sound, but it's not really forced. So just to get an idea of what that sound is, go ahead and take your hand in front of your face, open your mouth, take a nice deep inhale, and with your mouth open, exhale that breath out onto the hand. Now with your mouth open, breathe in with the as you hear the same sound as you breathe in. And now exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And now close your mouth and let yourself still hear that sound as you breathe in and out through the nose. You want to continue to engage into that 3-part breath. And as you exhale, let your exhale be a little bit longer. That helps you to engage the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the aspect of our nervous system that helps us rest and digest, restore. It's where basically all of our healing really occurs. If we're always on, always active, always fighting or feeling like we need to fight or run from something, we're overwhelming our system, causing cortisol to be released that has an adverse effect on our health. So trying to engage into our parasympathetic nervous system a couple times throughout the day, at least especially before we go to bed, is very helpful. And because I'm not sure if you're new to Yin or not, I want to balance this where we have some moments of silence for those who are familiar with Yin and appreciate that aspect of the practice. For those of you who are new and maybe find it challenging to be in that silence for too long of a time, I just want to speak a few times to let you know that I am here and I will continue to be with you throughout this practice. When you find that discomfort, unsettling, let your focus and your mind's awareness be on the breath. So breathing in through the nose. And allow yourself to use that breath as an anchor. One more nice deep inhale. As you exhale, blink your eyes open. We're going to come into our first pose, which is going to be half butterfly. So we'll go ahead and keep that here. We're going to take the left leg out, and you want to take that leg out into about a 45-degree angle. You're going to bring that right heel towards the pubic bone and screw yourself up on your blanket where the crease of the hamstrings and the glutes come right to that front edge. Here we are going to be, actually before we do half butterfly, we're going to do full butterfly. And we're going to be here for 4 minutes. So we'll go ahead and set up 1 minute and then we'll do 3 minutes because my timer does not have a 4-minute option. So before we fold forward, you want your legs to be in a diamond shape. You want, again, to have a little bit of a pelvic tilt in your pelvis area. What you could do is when you're sitting on your blanket, if you imagine yourself going into dog tilt or cow tilt, that is what you want in the sacrum, low back, but just not too exaggerated. So we're going to inhale and lift through the spine. And as you exhale, you can walk yourself forward. If you have a block nearby and you want to use that to rest your head on, go ahead and grab that block. And again, we're not trying to engage any of our muscles too much to be in this pose. We want to find that place of stillness and then just start breathing into our asana and allowing gravity to help bring us closer to the floor, to help open any areas that are tight and restricted in our bodies. The tissues that Yin Yoga focuses on is tendons, ligaments, and fascia. Tendons, of course, connect our muscles to our bones. Ligaments connect bones to bones. And fascia is this spiderweb type network of tissue-like substance that slides and moves and like together and interdependently as well. And it covers our muscles, and it covers around the ligaments and tendons and bones, vessels, nerves. There's thoughts or theories that it carries information that direct ourselves, that help ourselves do what they need to do in order for us to be friendly. That tissue is not healthy and hydrated and pliable and movable, and it affects our health in that adverse way. So it's really an ideal practice to work on that tissue to help just support our general state of health. As always, I like to let people know this is just a tool to help us in our wellness journey. Definitely do not ever make any claims that yoga cures anything. But any practice that helps you reduce the amount of stress you carry throughout the day is going to be very beneficial. I feel like the trick is finding something that really you resonate with and that you find easier to commit to and to continue to practice. That way you see the effects of it. We're allowing the joint areas and the capsules to open and release. We're going to inhale, lift our heads up from that block if you have it. We're going to walk ourselves back, and we're going to lean back onto our hands with our knees bent, feet forward and on the floor. And we're just going to come into what's called a windshield wiper pose. This is also the rebound pose in a yin practice. So as you set up into your asana and you hold it for a while, you can kind of cause some stiffness in the body. It's nice after you come out of your pose to go into a rebound pose. That way you can just kind of let the blood flow and let the energy shift in your body. All right, now we're going to come into that half butterfly that we were setting up for earlier. So when you take your leg out to that 45-degree angle, if you come straight out from your hip and then straight from the midline of your body, that is considered 90 degrees. So right in the middle of that is going to be 45. If you're having a hard time figuring out what the 45-degree angle is for you. Again, setting yourself up on your blanket that you're sitting on. Flex that left foot. Inhale and lift up. Exhale, and we're just actually, instead of folding forward, go ahead and twist yourself to the left, and then we're going to walk over that left foot for a few breaths. Keep both of your sit bones on the blanket and keep the hips level. Try not to let one hip, in this case it would be the right hip, that would want to come up a little bit. Allow gravity to keep that leg and that knee down towards the floor. If you have tight hamstrings, you can take a little blanket under that left knee. You can bend it if that's better for you. Keep that knee soft, and again, you want the kneecap to point up towards the ceiling. You want that foot to be somewhat flexed. There's a passive activation in your poses. Yin is to be still, receptive, allowing. Try to twist more in the upper to mid back. Definitely twist the chest over that leg on the left side as much as you can. Try not to twist too much in the low body and the low back. Anytime you feel that the body starts to open or release a little bit more, you can make the adjustment to go into the pose a bit deeper. But again, just go to where you start to feel sensation. We never go to our full edge in Yin. We go about 2/3 or 60%. So, and that will continuously shift each and every day throughout the day. And then we have our last minute because we're going to do 4 minutes on these. So go ahead and turn to the right, and then we're going to fold over this right knee a little bit. If you can bring those elbows towards the floor, go ahead and do that here. Again, this time we're trying to keep that left hip bone on our mat. We're not trying to lift up too much off the floor. Inhale and come up. We're going to bring those feet forward, and we're just going to do our windshield wiper here. Those knees can go all the way down. Go ahead and bring them down. If that's too much for your hips or low back, you can just do a nice gentle windshield wiper. Just let them go side to side very gently. And now we're going to set up for our other side. So we're going to take that right foot out. Again, that foot is flexed. The knee is pointing towards the ceiling. We're going to bring that left foot toward the pubic bone. And let's go ahead and start with a twist over that left knee. So inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold yourself over. Allowing a nice stretch on the right hamstring, on that right leg. That foot flexed on the right leg, the knee pointing towards the ceiling. The sit bones is going to stay close to the blanket on the mat. going to twist ourselves over to that right leg. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold forward. Again, just to where you feel that sensation. You may notice here that each side of your body is different. So one side may be tighter or looser than the other, and that's okay. Just allow yourself to become aware of that and just work with that as you continue your practice. Remembering to stay engaged with your breath, using it as an anchor throughout the practice to keep you here, to keep you stable. Finding that sense of stillness, holding until our time is up. If you notice any thoughts or memories or even visions sometimes occurring that aren't pleasant, just know that fascia is believed to hold memory. And sometimes when we are able to release the fascia in a way that it hasn't been able to for a long time, it can have this effect where it kind of makes you remember things or feel things that you may not really want to. Just allow yourself, again, breathe through that. Let the thoughts just pass across the mind as if it was like a movie screen and you're just watching it as it was someone else, and then that's it, it's over. And if you feel that it's causing you trouble throughout your day, then definitely I would seek the assistance of a talk therapist. Sometimes that proves to be healthy, but for most people, in most cases, if you just continue to do your work, your yoga practice and breathing, and not letting yourself get too overwhelmed by what you feel and your emotions, then you should be okay. But for those of you, again, who are new and not familiar with that, I just don't want you to find that out the hard way and then feel like you did something wrong. You actually did something very right. It's just working through an old pattern and changing it takes time. And sometimes there's discomfort in that. And come up. We're going to go back into our windshield wiper here. Take those feet in front of you. Again, after you come out of your pose, you may find sore areas of your body and that you weren't aware of or noticing before your practice. Again, just knowing that those are probably areas that are considered the weak points in your body, and we're working to strengthen and condition them, recondition them. Also know if you go to your full max in your yin practice, and we're holding these poses for a pretty long time, most beginner yin classes, it's like a minute to 3 minutes. Most of these are 4 to 5 minutes long. I think most of the poses are going to be about 4 minutes. We're going to take caterpillar. What I was going to say though, if you go to your full max and you're holding it for that long, you will feel very sore tomorrow. We're going to inhale and lift through the spine, raising the head towards the ceiling, dropping those shoulders down. The shoulder blades are pressed on the back and sliding down against the ribs. So inhale. Exhale, walk your hands forward, and you can rest those hands on your shins, your ankles, the toes, whatever feels comfortable. And then yin, again, since we're not moving quickly or have to be so mindful of our alignment in the sense that as we transition in and out, we can get hurt because we take our time to come into our pose. We don't have to be so rigid on how straight our spine is. And in fact, as you're in your pose, tucking your chin towards your chest and letting that spine round just a bit. Feels like a little bit nicer stretch. Again, you're letting gravity be used as a force that helps you come into the pose a little deeper without using the muscles to help you do so. With the muscles, all we ask is for them to be relaxed and to continue to relax as you hold the pose, as you hold the asana, as you're in the asana. Remember, you want those knees to point towards the ceiling, the feet are somewhat flexed. And as your spine loosens and relaxes more, you can bring your hands to your toes, fold a little deeper. I love when Charlie relaxes. It makes me happy. She's a rescue pup, and she's a pit bull, and she used to always have to fight. And now, since we've had her, she only has to love and be loved. And when I see her get upset or in her protective fight or flight mode, I can tell, I just see it in her body, how everything gets tense, and she gets even upset to some extent, like she's ready to battle. And I think most of us carry ourselves throughout our day like that. And I just see how it is not good for our bodies to constantly be in that state. It's great to find times to rest, to regenerate, recuperate, let your body heal, let your mind calm down, let your spirit align with Source. I also feel in our practices, especially with yoga, learning to connect with the breath is so valuable. Sometimes when we're out in the world, we can't break out into a vinyasa flow if we feel like we're stressed out. Not always, you may be able to, but you can become aware of your breath. We're going to inhale and lift ourselves up. And then we're just going to do a cat breath here, where as we inhale, we're going to press the chest out, bring the head and tailbone back towards each other. And as you exhale, you're going to round the hands forward, round the upper back. Exhale everything out. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale everything out. Inhale, chest up. And lift, bringing the head down and tailbone towards the head. Exhale, round the upper back. And now we're going to go into our next pose, which is going to be a supported bridge. So here you have two options, okay? You can start with the blanket and just bring that blanket right under the hips, under the sacrum. So you want it to be the top of the blanket, go right where, if you were wearing a belt, where that would be. And then you feel the sacrum lay flat on top of that blanket. And this can be your supported bridge right here. You can take your legs straight out, and you'll bring your hands up overhead. If that's enough for you, let that be your bridge. If you feel like you need something a little bit more or a little deeper, take your block and do the same setup. So you're just going to bring it right underneath the sacrum. Line it up where, if you were wearing a belt, actually, if you want, you could take it up a little bit higher. Go ahead, roll those shoulder blades toward one another. And you could keep your feet here. Bring those heels close to the glutes. And the hips or the feet are about hip width distance apart. Keep the knees parallel. Legs parallel. Don't let your knees fall out to the sides or fall in. Again, we have that active or that passive activation. And now we're going to finish 3 more minutes. And if you start to feel that everything is relaxing and releasing, you could bring your legs straight. Okay, and try to keep the feet and knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Your toes can actually point, but you want the top of your feet to point up towards the ceiling. You want to feel that stretch in the hip flexors and the psoas muscles. Staying connected to that breath. Anytime throughout your practice, if you feel the breath is labored or choppy, you can exhale from your mouth. So you're always, in your practice, always breathing in through your nose. And here you can decide if you're having a hard time with the breath, you can breathe everything out through the mouth, releasing all tension, stagnation, restriction from the body. And then once you feel that breath smoothing out and becoming more gentle and easier, then you continue to just breathe in and out through the nose. It's also nice to have your eyes closed so you can really tune into what you're experiencing in your body. When I pay attention to the yoga breath, the ocean sound breath, I like to imagine I'm on the beach. And I can hear the ocean waves just crashing and just feeling my body absorb the goodness and the peace and the stillness of the space. And then allowing my body to mimic that gentle, relaxed feeling of subtle movement, but yet when it's with more drops of water, it seems very powerful. We're going to inhale and press our hips up. Very slowly move that block out from underneath. Take it to the side. And here we could just take our knees to our chest, give ourselves a nice little squeeze. Roll side to side to just kind of massage that low back a little bit, allowing yourself to become aware of any energetic shifts in your body. And now bring your feet down. Our next pose, we're going to come onto our belly and we're going to do a Sphinx pose. So without disturbing Charlene too much, we are going to lay flat on that belly. Bring those elbows right underneath your shoulders. The feet are going to be as wide as your mat. lift through the chest and pull it through the window of your arms. So the two biceps create like a little window, and you're pulling up and out through that window with your chest. Allow the head to float up towards the ceiling, or if you want to feel a stretch in your neck, in the back of your neck, tuck that chin towards your chest. Let the head come down. You can take a block and bring your head there for a bit. Again, if you do bring your head to a block, keep those shoulders up. Don't squish them into your ears, but just keep them up. Let those shoulder blades fall toward the ribs and slide down towards the sacrum. Your hands are out in front of you. Fingers are spread. I'm just going to do 4 minutes here. Again, if you want to close your eyes and just kind of turn it into your body, to the visceral experiences you're having, that you're creating, do so. And if you want to anytime shift the stretch, so if you want to take that block out, bring yourself back up and just lift into this pose, you can do that as well. You're always shifting or moving to find that appropriate edge. And as you breathe through your asana, things in your body start to shift and change. And so you may have to shift and change your asana accordingly. We got 1 more minute here. Let's see if we can let that exhale be a bit longer than the inhale. If you feel like this is too much in the low back, you can walk those elbows out a bit, and that will bring you down a little bit closer to the floor, so that compression in the low back is not as intense. Feel a nice stretch in the front of the stomach. I'm going to go ahead, move the block out of the way if you have it there. Stack your hands, rest your head on the back of your hands, and just shift the hips side to side, rocking out any residual tension in that low back and the lower body, and just letting everything go. We'll take 2 nice complete breaths here. So that was 1. One more time, inhale through the nose. Since we're kind of close to the floor, let's go ahead and exhale everything out through the mouth. Here we're just going to bring ourselves up, and then we're going to come back onto our backs. We're going to come into banana pose. Now, for banana pose, when you lay straight back onto your back, take your feet as find my spot here without disturbing Charlene. Take your feet as wide as the mat. You're going to take the right foot, reach it over the left. So you can hook the right foot on top of that left ankle. You can bring it side by side, or you can even take the left foot and wrap it on top of the right ankle and kind of hook that left foot into the left or right foot. Whatever hold that you feel serves you best, that's where you want to be. Take the upper body, and shift towards the left as well. Raise this right arm overhead. Take the left hand, pull straight up, and then pull towards the left with that left hand. Again, you're not really trying to engage any muscles too much here. You're just allowing yourself to kind of hold on to the body where we have those holds, and then breathe into the asana to allow the rest of the body to release and relax. You can have that hand up to the wrist, or you can bring it down towards the elbow for a little bit more of a stretch here if you want. We got 3 more minutes. So we're just about there, but not there yet. Remember, we're holding these poses, committing to this practice, coming to our mantra, which our mantra for this practice today is, I allow all the good in my life to come to me without resistance. So, remembering to let yourself to be open to new experiences, to not be so judgmental and concerned if something is good or bad for you. Becoming more aware of the facts of how do you feel in the moment. If you feel good, and it's the good kind of feel that you know you don't have to pay for it later, because some people feel good when they do bad things, but that's not the feeling we're talking about. We're talking about the feeling that you just know that this is right for you, that this is good for you, that if this is all you could do for the rest of your life, that you would be happy with that. And if you've never felt that, taking time and practice what that feels like, and training yourself to find that good feeling again, that healthy feeling. That feeling that helps us make good choices for ourselves and others, for now, in this present moment, and in the long run. Just about there. Inhale. Now exhale, release that hold on the arms. Shift the upper body back towards the center of your mat. Gently unlock the hold of your ankles. And again, whichever hold you have. Just take that right leg and bring it back out to the corner of your mat. We're just going to stay here in the starfish pose for a few breaths. So let's go ahead and breathe in through the nose. Exhale, release everything out of your body. Inhale. Let that exhale be a little bit longer and release everything out. One last time, inhale through the nose. And now exhale everything out. We're going to set up for our other side. I like to switch the ends of on my mat whenever I do the opposite sides. I have a little slant on my floor, so I like to keep myself balanced. So here we're going to take those feet as wide as the mat again. And now this time we are going to bring that right foot. I feel like we already did that. So we're going to bring the left foot over to the right. Shift the upper body over to the right as well. Reach the left arm up. Grab it at the wrist or down closer to the elbow. Keep both of your shoulder blades on the floor. Both hips are on the floor as well. We're just going to stretch into that banana pose. Get a nice stretch on the outside, on that left side of our bodies here. Again, we're just staying engaged with our breath, using it as an anchor in our pose. Once our body starts to open up a little bit more, if you want to take your stretch out a little bit further, reach the right hand down that left arm a little bit more, walking that right foot out a bit more, and then hooking that left leg again, and just feeling a nice deep stretch on that left side. Just about there. After this pose, we only have two more. It's a two-knee reclining twist, and it's really one more asana, but it's on both sides. And then we'll go into our shavasana. We have one more minute here, so go ahead and continue to breathe into your asana. We're just about to that sweet spot, to the rebound pose, letting everything shift and change in our bodies. If you feel the need, coming back to your mantra, I allow all the good in my life to come to me without resistance. someone who's new to like yoga or meditation or even spiritual practices, just knowing that, there's not a quick fix most of the time, and if anyone promises you that, they're being unrealistic and kind of setting you up for some feelings of maybe disappointment. Just know that anything you do when you're trying to elicit a change is going to require some time and effort and work. So just stay mindful of that and being patient with yourself as you practice and get stronger. You'll see that you'll get deeper and you'll be able to do more in your yoga practice. So here we're going to do the reclining twist. So go ahead and bend your knees, lift your hips and shift them as far over to the left as you can. We're going to inhale, keeping your shoulders planted on the floor. You're going to inhale, lift those feet, flex them. Exhale, drop the knees together over to the right. And over here we're going to do 4 minutes. So bring those arms out into a T shape. You can have the palms up. Inhale, lift your head up, and then exhale, turn over that left shoulder, looking at the left fingers. Remembering to just breathe into the asana. So remembering that we have an intention for our practice. We want to condition those tissues, the ligaments, the tendons, the fascia, help to strengthen them, to make them more pliable, hydrated so they function properly, and also to reduce the risk of injury in other yoga practices and exercise practices as well. The more familiar you become with your body and how you hold tension in your body and where you feel restriction or weakness, the more awareness you have when you're putting yourself through more physically demanding experiences, and it also helps you to stay mindful in your body as you do that, so you do reduce or you have, to reduce potential injuries. When you're doing things and you're creating forces within the body and have a demand on it, and you just mindlessly kind of push yourself through it, that's where a lot of the injuries come from, because we kind of numb ourselves to what we're experiencing, to what we're feeling, and then we just go through the motions as if that's going to serve us the best, and then we end up getting hurt, and then we feel like what we did was wrong. But it wasn't that, exercising or doing yoga was wrong. It was that your alignment, your body mechanics, those things, you weren't completely 100% mindful of how you approached your practice or your exercise routine. We're just about there. Make sure both those shoulder blades are still on the floor. That top knee can be lifted just a bit if it doesn't want to fall completely towards the floor. If you want, you can take the right hand on top of that left knee. That way it kind of
helps bring it closer to the other knee. And you get a little bit more of a twist. But again, remembering you're not trying to overdo anything here. And you don't want to feel more than you can handle at the moment. It may feel good, but remember we're holding it for a long time. And so what will that feel like after we come out, what you're doing now? So go ahead, inhale, bring those knees back to center, bring the head to center. We're going to align our body on our mat. Take your knees into your chest. And let's go ahead and roll those knees over to the left. And now exhale over towards the right. Inhale, one more nice squeeze into the knees into the chest. Exhale everything out. And we're just going to do the other side now. So here we're going to lay back onto our backs. Bend our knees. Shift those hips over to the right. Take your arms out into a T. The hands can be up or down. Lift those feet. Inhale. Exhale. Flexing the feet. Drop those knees over to the left. And now inhale, lift your head, and exhale over that right hand. Keeping both shoulder blades towards the floor. Remembering if you have a little gap in between the knees, that's okay. Try to keep the feet together if you can. Let the knees fall toward one another. So really, more than anything, it's going to be the top knee coming towards the bottom knee. You can play with the position of the feet to feel that stretch in different areas of your back. So if you bring those feet closer to the glutes, you're going to feel it more in the low back. If you take them out a bit further, you're going to feel it higher up in your back. If you feel like you want to take that left hand on the outside of the right knee to kind of assist with that knee coming towards the floor, just try not to grab it, just let it be a weight that helps that knee with gravity to bring it closer to the floor. Just about there. I'm still here with you, just really allowing ourselves to be absorbed in the stillness, finding the peace in our practice. Remembering our mantra, I allow all the good that comes to me and in my life with no resistance. We have one more minute here. Just about there. And then after this, we're going to come into our Shavasana, kind of our treat and reward after our practice. This is another place where people with the type A personality or who are busy tend to neglect the importance of that rest period after your practice. Even if it's a gentle practice, you're still doing work. You're just affecting different levels of our bodies, of our mind, of our energy and yin. Because we hold these poses for so long, we're also affecting meridians, which are lines of energy through the body. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, you can look up Chinese medicine, acupuncture, shiatsu. Those two things speak about lines of energy in our body. I'm gonna release that hold. Inhale, bring the head back to center. Engage your core, bring your knees back to the middle. And then we're just going to shift ourselves down the center of our mat. And then we're going to set up for our Shavasana. Before we do that, let's go ahead and take those knees into our chest again. Inhale, exhale, roll them over to the right. Inhale, and then exhale, roll them to the left. We're going to go ahead, inhale, squeeze them in a little bit more. Exhale, bring them down, and then we're going to come in our Shavasana. And here you have a few options. If you want to come into a bound angle Shavasana, bring your feet together, drop your knees wide. You can bring 2 blocks under each knee. Make sure to tuck and roll the shoulder blade towards one another and underneath your back. Hands are down by the sides, palms open and towards the ceiling. You can bring your legs straight out to the corners of your mat, which I usually like doing, but Charlene's there today. So let's just take our knees, walk the feet wide, and just relax here. Allow yourself to absorb all the goodness that you created in their practice today. Allow your body to benefit from that. Give yourself some props for coming to your mat today, trying something new, or doing something you love and you know that's good for you, and committing to keep doing that as you benefit from it more and more every day. Even if some days it may be too challenging, it may be boring, it may be blah, you're still benefiting from it. I'm going to come back to that mantra. I allow all the good in my life with no resistance. So be it.
Today's card is co-create. The essential meaning: creativity, art, inspiration, fruition, manifestation. The Oracle's message: you may not consider yourself a creative person, but in fact you are creating your reality every moment of every day via your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, intentions, and actions. Yet you must consider that you do so in partnership with spirit, consciousness, God, or whatever name you call your higher power. You are a spark of this intelligence that works through you, nudging you with inspired thought and intuitive guidance. You are a paintbrush that co-creates a beautiful, unique expression of your own individuality blended with universal spirit. You are a product of divine inspiration, and now you're aligned with it to create miracles. When you view your life as art, you know you co-create it. Only beauty and grace result. Prepare to be amazed. Since this card is inverted, the protection message: you are trying too hard to create all that you desire without the nurturing, vital force of spirit. Perhaps you are in a creative slump, suffering writer's block, facing a monumental task but unable to decide on your first step. So you just avoid doing anything. Does the word overwhelm apply to you right now? Why do you think it all has to come down to you? Inspiration means the drawing in of divine guidance. You must tap into spirit, not simply yourself. Ask spirit for inspiration. Two minds are greater than one, so co-create with your divine partner. Reclaim your partnership with spirit. Inspiration will flow through you as soon as you get out of your own way. Allow yourself to kind of absorb what you just heard. And let yourself kind of think about that and think about the ways that you may kind of stop the good that is coming to you from that higher source, that higher power, the true you. Start to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Go ahead and exhale everything out through the mouth. Inhale through your nose one more time. Nice deep inhale. Fill that belly up. Let the chest expand. Let the collarbones rise. Now go ahead and exhale everything out. Let the exhale be a little bit longer. Keep the mouth open. Let the exhale come out of the mouth. Everything that's trapped in your body that's holding you back, any restriction, stagnation, just let that all go. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. We're going to bring the feet together, the arms up overhead. Inhale one more time, nice deep inhale. Exhale everything out. Roll over to your left or right side, whichever feels comfortable to you. Take a couple breaths here. Just let your breath be natural. Go ahead and push yourself back up to that simple, easy cross-legged seated position. Go ahead and meet with me with your hands in front of your heart. An Angeline Mudra. Peace and namaste. Thank you, friends, for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this practice. This is my first yoga video, so hopefully it turns out well. If there's any recommendations, anything, a request, things that you might like to work on in the next yoga practice, definitely open to that. Definitely would be very happy if you would subscribe to my channel and also leave a comment just to let me know that you're here. And if you know anyone else who may benefit from these practices or working, just being connected with me and working with the way I worked with people, I would greatly appreciate that. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Peace and namaste. Thank you again.